I'm Ian from Sustainability Support team. In this short video, I'll show you how to identify the type of request from thread names in Javacores. For this demonstration, I have opened a Javacore in the Thread and Monitor dump analyzer for Java, which is freely available for download. Here I have loaded the Javacore and I want to show the thread detail. So I've already opened the thread detail here. I click on the stack depth first to filter on that. That causes the newest threads with the most activity to be displayed at the top, and that's generally because threads that are actively running have a higher stack depth. So if we click on this, you can see that this changes the depth from the top to the bottom. We're going to start at the bottom and move to the top. Let's observe some of the threads. At the lower stack depth, we have threads that are generally a little bit less interesting. We've got one here which is talking about the Oracle JDBC driver, so we know that this particular instance is very likely using Oracle for a database. We can also see other threads such as GC workers, garbage collection workers, just-in-time compilation threads. This is from the JVM at a very low level. We're usually less interested in that. We can see other threads such as framework. Here's a framework thread, the Eclipse Equinox project. It's a framework that is used in the background. Then we have some threads indexing, quality management. We're getting a sense that engineering test management is the application that is where this Javacore was taken. So we can also see here we have various indices that are being indexed very likely using these threads. I actually have an instance of Engineering Lifecycle Management, which will help us to understand the JFS indices. So for example, I can display here, we've got conf directory, QM indices. We've got 4 different types of JFS indices. We can see there's the text and also the text history index. Scrolling up a little bit further, we can see some other threads here. For example, we've got some asynchronous tasks that are running. Now, to understand what happens in an asynchronous task, you actually have to look at the stack trace. We can see here, if we look more closely, that it's likely that this has something to do with querying links. If we go further up, this is generally the more interesting section where all of the default Executor threads are located. These are numbered. For example, if we just choose this one, we can see this is actually in Engineering Test Management. The OSLC API has various get methods to get resources. And this is getting a test suite execution record. So I'll just give you a little bit of an idea from the instance that we had running over here. So this is a blog which is available online. It shows how ETM test artifacts can be getted through OSLC. And you can see we've got, for example, versioned test plans, version test cases, test suite execution record as well. Moving further up, we can see there are some other interesting SQL, some threads that actually have the SQL statement written into the name of the thread itself. So that's very helpful. We can see, of course, it's once again using the QM OSLC API, and it's getting a version test case. In this situation, we can also see that it's running SQL, and the SQL that is running, it is telling us exactly what SQL it's running. Thank you for joining us to learn about identifying the type of request from thread name in Javacores. If you need more assistance, use the link in the description to access the product documentation.